What if I told you it's possible to go from $20,000 per month to over $120,000 per month? That's 6 times the revenue increase in just under 6 months. Now, all of this, by the way, without a huge team, without hundreds of UGC videos that you have to pay for, and without a massive ad budget. Now, you see, at this point, I've personally worked with dozens and dozens of Shopify stores managing over $10 million in ad spend. And today, I want to bring you behind the scenes of what it actually takes to scale a Shopify store from nothing to 7 figures and multiple 7 figures in sales using meta ads. Now, for those of you that are saying, hey, I've tested Facebook ads, it's not for me, not for my brand, it's a cash grab, it doesn't work, ROAS is low, it takes too much money to actually succeed in the platform. Well, this is actually different, okay? You see, most people, what they do when they run ads is they go with the let's run ads and hope it works mindset, okay? Let's launch and hope it works, right? At Growth Labs, what we do is very simple. We deploy timeless, scientific, and proven frameworks to produce results month over month. And we've been doing it successfully for over 5 years now. And this is exactly what we did for this brand. Now, this swimwear brand based in LA was in a very, let's call it, competitive industry. And so when this store approached us to actually help them, they had a brand that had a lot of traction. So they had 60,000 followers or 50,000 followers on Instagram. They had a decent following on Facebook, and they were actually good at converting cold traffic into followers, right? But that didn't translate into actual sales in their Shopify dashboard. And so that was the problem. It's, hey, we've never ran ads for our brand. We've been surviving with organic content. How are we supposed to scale this on a channel that is very cash hungry, right? We're only generating, $20,000 a month. We can't allocate more than $3,000 per month in ad spend. How is this going to work? And so when my team and I, we sat down and we strategized the actual roadmap, what happened is we started with let's call it a 4-step process, okay? And so step number 1 of the process, what we did is we wanted to map the exact avatars and the exact desires of those avatars to know exactly how to speak to them. So first of all, who are we speaking to and how are we going to speak to them to bridge the gap between the customer and the product? Okay, and that's the first step. We're not running ads. We're not spending a single dime on ads at this point. So here, what you want to do for your store, for example, little action item, you want to map out the exact avatars and you want to map out the desire that each avatar has. And so you go from an unaware avatar to the most aware avatar. Okay, that's a spectrum, and each part of that spectrum has different desires, has different needs, and is experiencing a different reality altogether. Okay, and so here what you want to do is you want to be leveraging AI to do the research for you, to uncover the deepest desires that you can then leverage in your ads to skyrocket your results. And so that's exactly what we did. We identified the 5 avatars. We knew exactly how to speak to them, which angle we wanted to deploy to actually convert them. And basically what that does is it shrinks your testing phase. Okay, so you're able to do more with less, right? You're able to kind of guess the right way and guess in the right direction just because you're adding leverage in your research, okay? Step number 2, once you have those data points, so the avatar and the desire, now what we want to do is we want to be uncovering the winning angle. And so out of all the angles that we tested, the one that actually stood out was the luxury fabric that hugs the curves of the customers perfectly and complements their natural beauty in a way that befits them. Okay, so a lot of swimwear brands, what they do is they rely on models that have, I would say, unnatural features, if you will, right? For this brand, what it does is it complements your already natural beauty, right? And that is a very, very cool message that sticks out of the noise of every single swimwear brand that's in the US, for example, that's trying to compete for the same audience. We're basically standing out by being more relatable. And that was the angle that we actually leveraged to speak to our customers in a way that was attractive to them. Okay, we needed to advertise the brand in a way that made sense for the brand. Now, the brand had a lot of different collections, okay? And that's the case for the majority of fashion brands, right? You're gonna have a winter collection or a summer collection, a spring collection, typically aligned with the seasons, right? That's what we typically see. And you need to advertise these collections to measure the resonance, to get rid of your stock and actually advertise for your business, right? So what we did is we structured the ad account in a way that was very simple, okay? 1 campaign per collection, one retargeting campaign, middle funnel, and then one deep funnel campaign, which is kind of your bottom funnel, last 14 days checkouts or last 14-day add to carts, or if you don't have a lot of pixel data, last 30 days, last 60 days, whatever makes sense for you. So what we did in this case is we went for 14 days because that enabled us to kind of go for the low-hanging fruit. And then the front end, what we had was a plethora of campaigns, a lot of campaigns that were geared towards advertising the different collections to cold traffic. Okay. And so the reason you want to have one campaign per collection is very simple. If you have a fashion brand, whether you're selling streetwear, swimwear, activewear, whatever product you're actually selling, you want to know exactly which collections are more attractive to a cold audience. And this becomes the gateway by which the customers enter your ecosystem, right? So you might have a collection that doesn't sell well on cold traffic, but does very well with customers that are already aware of your business, right? And so you want to know exactly what that is so that you don't waste time and you don't waste money with campaigns that aren't going to convert on cold traffic, right? And that's why we want to have a segmentation. So we want to know which campaign or which collection in this case is going to give us the most out of our cash when it comes to cold traffic, right? Now, after that, what we want to do, once we have that segmentation and we have our winning angle, we need to understand that a lot of customers on Meta are not going to convert with a video ad. They're probably going to convert with a carousel. A lot of them aren't going to convert on the carousel. They're going to convert with a static image, you know, and if you go a little bit deeper, a lot of them are not going to convert on the static image that's just showing benefits. They're going to convert on the static image that has reviews on it, right? And so that's what you need to understand with Meta. You need to have what we call ad variants, which means a lot of different formats that cater to most customers, because Meta has 52,000 data points on every single user on the platform. If I had you tell me 30 things about yourself, you'd probably run out after 15 things, right? That platform has 52,000 data points for every single user on the platform. Right? So what do we do with this information? Well, we understand that they must have data that suggests that some customers prefer to receive static ads. Some customers prefer to have UGC content shown to them. Other customers like to have a professional shoot video shown to them. And so we need to cast a wide net with our content, right? So that we create this little web where customers kind of enter from one path and then they get lost in the maze. Okay, that's how you need to think about your ads, right? How can I create a web like a little spider so that customers, when they get into it, they get stuck, right? And obviously this always has to be done ethically, right? So we're only in the business of selling good products. In this case, what we did, we had obviously statics. We had statics with as seen in content. We had unboxing videos. We had, a nice swimsuit on the pool, just the swimsuit alone. We had the swimsuit on the shower head. We had swimsuit on the flat lay, like a cool gray floor. We had so many different pieces of content that it made it impossible for us to not scale when it comes to cold traffic, just because we were giving Facebook all the ammunition they needed to scale effectively, okay? And so here, what we want to do is we want to cast a wide net to capture as much attention as possible, right? So once you do that, you basically know your avatar, you know your desire attached to every single avatar, you know which winning angle you're going to go for, you know how many campaigns you're going to have, because that equates to your collections. So if you have 4 collections, it's going to be 4 campaigns plus a retargeting campaign, for example. You know the formats that are going to work, just because you're casting a wide net and you're collecting data faster. And you know exactly which campaigns perform better on cold traffic. We talked about this a few minutes ago. Okay, so that's the information that you're equipped with right now. It's time to scale. Right? And so what we do here is we shift from ABO, which we use to kind of test at a low budget to reduce risk, but also not compromise on the quality of information that we're getting from the platform and the market. And once we have a winning combination, we basically pump them into a CBO and Advantage Plus campaign to scale it up. Okay? So once we have that, basically it's time to scale vertically. So we're increasing 20%, 30% every single, I would say 72-hour sprint. And then once we have that, we can combine not only winning ads, but also winning formats together. Okay. And so that's exactly what we did. And that's exactly what's enabled us to get results like this here on a monthly basis, results like this on a daily basis. And it really shows you how simple advertising has become. If you apply and if you deploy in your business simple frameworks that are proven to work, if you have an amazing product and you have a product that people want, then that's all you need. right? And so a lot of customers, they come to me and they're kind of lost, especially in these industries like fashion, skincare, all of these competitive industries, CPG or supplements, all of these different very competitive industries. They come to me with amazing products but faulty marketing, and they kind of call it quits, and they abandon the idea of running ads. But ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't seen the results with your ads in the past, you need to ask yourself the question, have I been leveraging the platforms that I'm kind of accusing of not giving me the results the right way, right? Have I been, deploying strategies that are proven to work? Why is it that you can't scale, but other fashion brands or other skincare brands or other brands that are in your industry, they can just effortlessly scale? Why is that, right? Are they selling to non-humans? No, they're selling to the same human beings. They're just selling to them in a way that befits the customers, right? And so if you apply these frameworks, I can guarantee that you will see results in the shortest amount of time. Granted, your product is awesome and it actually solves a problem. Okay, so I hope you saw some value in this video. Again, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let me know what type of content you'd like to see in the future. Again, my name is Omar. For those that don't know me, I'm the founder at Growth Labs. We are a high-level growth partner firm for e-commerce businesses. We help them grow, scale, and maintain the scale at a high level. We've been doing it for 5 years. We're really good at it. If you're looking for a done-for-you solution for your business, click on the link below, book a call with our team, and I'll see you on the other side. Cheers.